administrations directly concerned with next year's AFCON. According to the Minister of Sports, the infrastructures and facilities needed for the event are ready in the different host towns, and all is in place for the official draws ceremony.
As far as this draw ceremony is concerned, it's going to be organized at the 17th of August. Things are moving very well, and I can say that we are able to offer a very good ceremony.
The Minister of External Relations says Cameroon embassies and consular services are ready with rapid visa deliverance procedures reduced from 72 to 48 hours. The Secretary of State in charge of the National Gendarmerie, speaking on behalf of the Minister of Defense, says security operations are already ongoing in the different host towns across the country. The representative of the police force also explained that special measures have been taken to secure hotels and different sites. Prime Minister Joseph John Gote says he is happy with the level of preparation so far. He has enjoined the different administrations to remain focused on the objective of a successful and hitch-free AFCON and draws ceremony.
Construction works on the rural section of the Yaoundé-Simalène motorway is near completion. Its linkage roads to the National Highway No. 3 and to the nation's capital is at 90% finished. Details with Joyce Kimbi Fawaju.
Work at last is near completion on the 10.8 kilometers rural section of the Yaoundé-Simalène motorway 6 years after its launch in 2014. At Ahala, the connection point of this section to the National Road No. 3 and the nation's capital, work is intensifying to construct the crossover that replaces the outdated underpass that was demolished. This rural section carries a road of 11 centimeters platform. As concerns engineering works, its bridges and crossovers in Simalène and Mayos have been completed, while that of Ahala is 60% advanced. Drainage and double carriage partitions have already been constructed, as well as stone mounted along the roadside to prevent its collapse. The Chinese company executing the contract, speaking of Camer, say the rural section of the Yaoundé-Simalène motorway may be handed and opened to the public by December 31st, 2021. This ahead of the AFCON Games. But attempts to get details as concerns this section of the road from the supervisory authority failed.
Soldiers wounded in recent Boko Haram attacks in the Far North region are responding positively to treatment. They were visited today by the Minister Delegate at the Presidency in charge of Defense at the start of a 2-day working visit to the region. Joseph Betia Somo pledged the head of state support and to the entire nation. Albert Jambone, CRTV's special envoy to Marwa.
Concerns from developments at the war front have rushed him to Marwa. Just a few minutes to devote to protocolar niceties as Joseph Betia Somo comes face to face with the brutality of the recent gun battles in Sagme and Zige. Soldiers with bullet wounds, others on crutches, a few placed on psychological therapy. Together with the military high command, they are briefed on the condition of every wounded soldier.
I'm here because I was one of the attack that took place in Sagme. But we are physically fit. If we get better, we are ready to get back in the war and to continue.
The medical facility is in full gear as the logistics support center in the fight against terror. In a moral boost and encouragement exchange, Minister Joseph Betia Somo pledged President Paul Biya's support in their treatment, promising a befitting burial for the fallen.
L'armée n'oublie jamais ses hommes, quel que soit ce qui leur arrive. L'armée prend soin de ses hommes jusqu'au sacrifice suprême s'il le faut.
An inspection visit of a military hospital mortuary under construction was an important stopover, as if to say the ultimate sacrifice is sometimes a reality in the military's quest for peace.
We stay in the far north region where the population there has been exhorted to continue respecting state institutions and those who incarnate them. The call was made by the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honourable Jibril, during a patriotic march in Tokombere. The population has described the acts as subversive and counterproductive attempts by some Cameroonians in the diaspora for trying to perturb the private sojourn of the presidential couple in Europe. Sylvester Atemken completes that story from Tokombere in the far north region.
Patriotic songs chanted by the population of Tokombere subdivision as they condemn attempts by some misguided Cameroonians in the diaspora for trying to perturb the head of state's sojourn out of the country. The patriotic chants replicated by the people underscored their attachment to national unity and peaceful coexistence in Cameroon.
We are behind our President of the Republic.
The patriotic march was equally an occasion for the President of the CPD and permanent delegation for the far north to edify the population, especially the youths, on civic values and the importance of peace.
Want President Paul Biya to continue piloting the affairs of the country in peace. When we talk of the people of the far north, we talk of peace because the people love peace and want to always live in peace.
At the end of the patriotic march, a motion of support was handed to Right Honourable Jibril for upward transmission to the head of state and to reaffirm their commitment in the respect of state institutions and those who incarnate them.
The Cameroonian diaspora has also continued to denounce attacks on the head of state, this time around from the Cameroonian diaspora in France, which says the actions in Geneva are to be denounced by all. Charles Ebune has more.
Last July 17, 2021, in Geneva, Switzerland, a group of individuals stormed the United Nations headquarters and other surrounding buildings around the Intercontinental Hotel, protesting against the stay of the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, an act quickly denounced by majority of the Cameroonian diaspora. This July 26, 2021, in Paris, France, through video conferencing, the Association of the Cameroonians in the diaspora from all the corners of the world gathered to discuss and denounce such an unpatriotic act against the President of the Republic.
Our support goes through the respect of the institution and therefore your president who is the guarantor.
The gathering of the Association of Cameroonians in the diaspora from all the ends of the world is one yet another proof that Cameroonians denounce any act of violence in the foreign land and especially against the President of the Republic.
And on to this list story. Pig breeders in Cameroon are in need of a response plan to the current African swine fever outbreak. The disease first reported in the northwest region, then extended to the west, center, south and east regions. So far, no official statement has been made by the Ministry of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries. However, veterinary experts have called for a more effective involvement of actors and the scientific community to play a great role by developing a vaccine against the devastating disease. Constantine Baum tells us more.
The African swine fever is still very much endemic in Cameroon. The new outbreak was first reported in the northwest region following the death of 6,254 pigs. The outbreak also hit the west region. The disease is spreading fast and has touched the center, south and east regions. For the past week, the outbreak has made headlines on many front pages of newspapers. Pig breeders are still waiting for a national response on how to address the situation. The only official voices have come from the Northwest and West governors who signed an order prohibiting the transportation of pigs out of the region. Episodic diseases still limit the development of livestock, a challenge to most pig breeders.
I started with about 19 piglets, and that was in October. In May, I was having about 25, and I lost all these pigs in the space of a week. Imagine the time, the investment, the money and everything.
The outbreak reflects a flaw in the control measures put in place by the Ministry of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries. It was difficult to get anyone talk on the official measures taken by the ministry to counter the current outbreak. Studies have revealed that the peak management systems and practices in Cameroon facilitate the spread and persistence of the disease. Veterinary experts call for serious and more effective involvement of all the actors in the sector if the African swine fever has to be eradicated. They also insist that surveillance system must be boosted without forgetting the involvement of the scientific community in the process of developing a vaccine against the deadly disease.
Meantime, the situation of the African swine fever in the West region is now under control. Pig breeders and dealers in pig byproducts are battling with the effects of the disease that has made life very difficult for them. Chet Tembok of our CRTV West Regional Station has an update on the African swine fever situation in that region.
The aftermath of the African swine fever outbreak in the West region has been devastating for farmers, especially following the order by the governor putting animals under quarantine and prohibiting the sale and its byproducts. Authorities at the Delegation of Livestock, Fisheries and Animal Industries have stepped up measures to prevent the spread of the disease.
The situation of the African swine fever in the West region has been brought under control. Pig farms are monitored, movement of pigs and its byproducts restricted, and surveillance system of production chain is working.
Veterinary services are all over the field to reinforce the governor's restrictive measures,
like restricting the animals from entering and from leaving. And we also sensitize them on the sanitation aspect. You see, the pens are all empty. There are no pigs inside.
In spite of the ban by the governor, pork is still smuggled and sold secretly in markets in the West region.
On to other news, the resilience of economies of the CEMAC countries is one of the top priorities of the African Development Bank. The bank has committed itself to strengthen the CEMAC region's abilities to recover from economic hardship aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic. In today's running series, Ewane Epole reflects on some of the challenges faced by CEMAC countries and ADB's move to find solutions.
Countries in the CEMAC region are said to be having difficulties prospering despite the legislation and various treaties and institutions established to govern regional integration.
With the COVID pandemic, the issue of the health system, the modernization of the agriculture, for our countries to be able to feed the security debt situation.
As prospects of enhancing regional integration projects, African Development Bank officials have promised strengthening the resilience of the countries in the region.
Our countries in the Central Africa region needs to find new opportunities, new productive sectors to lead our economies. And this is something which is very urgent for them. And I reassure them that the bank, with our partners, with the leadership of the African Development Bank, we are really going to push to resolve these issues.
Combine strength among countries to develop human capital and accelerating the conditions for the creation of the future Continental Free Trade Area, ADB officials adds, are among the many regional integration projects.
A newly appointed member of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism has been installed into her duties. Installing Julien Madeo today in Yaoundé, the chairman of the commission, Peter Mafani Musonge, prescribed commitment and assiduity. Ebenezer Akanga was there and now has the details.
With this ritual, Julien Madeo has been installed as member of the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. Peter Mafani Musonge used the occasion to make a balance sheet of activities carried out by the Commission since its creation in 2017. And one of the activities is the fight against hate speech and xenophobia.
In fact, in February, the President of the Republic, preoccupied by the alarming rise in the spread of hate speech and xenophobia in our country, instructed the NCPBM to embark on a new national communication campaign against these scourges.
53-year Julien Madia, who was appointed by presidential decree of 2nd July 2021, hails from Mayo-Lute division of the North region. Before her appointment, she was the regional delegate of arts and culture for the North.
The motion is first of all of gratitude. Gratitude to the head of state and to the president to have commissioned me.
She replaces Jenabu Bakari, who has been appointed in the General Secretariat of the Presidency of the Republic.
Staff of the Supreme State Audit Office have been urged to be more committed and show a sense of responsibility in order to better control and manage the extractive industry in the country. Minister Rose Mba Acha made the call Wednesday while officially opening a 2-day workshop to improve the knowledge of her staff on issues relating to the sales of contracts for mining products. Clarence Ngei has the details.
If there is a domain that has not been controlled by the Supreme State Audit Office, then it is the extractive industry. And for that to happen, some skills are needed. It is for this reason that staff of the Supreme State Audit Office are upgrading their knowledge in this workshop organized in collaboration with the Regional Training Center of the Higher Institutions for Public Finances in Francophone Africa. Their training is based on handling issues relating to the sales of contracts for mining products and the prices of metals.
Consupe had not yet controlled or gone down to verify anything as concerns extractive industries. This project has assisted the training of many of the verificators of Consupe, and not only the verificators of Consupe, even as civil society and even our partners, institutional partners who are involved with the extractive industries on how to manage, on how to control.
The 2-day workshop is within the framework of the project to improve the surveillance of the extractive industry in Africa.
Today is World Hepatitis Day, observed under the theme, Hepatitis Can't Wait. In this edition, we shall profile a hepatitis patient who will recount his ordeal. At 85, Jean Gongang has had to struggle not only with illnesses that come with old age, but with hepatitis C virus. For 3 years, the octogenarian battled with body itches until he was diagnosed positive with the virus. Today, after 3 months of treatment, the father of 3 wears a smile after being cured. Emanuela Vemye met with Jean Gongang and came back with this report.
He's affectionately called Super Papa, not just for raising 3 kids, but for defeating the hepatitis C virus. Today, Papa Ngongang brandishes his certificate of cure with a smile. The journey has been long.
I had intense itches all over my body for 3 years. It was unbearable. I tested negative to filaria and other illnesses, yet the itches were getting worse. When I got here, the doctor diagnosed I had hepatitis C virus.
On a day the world spotlights the fight against hepatitis, he comes to see the gastroenterologist who diagnosed his problem.
I was put on a 3-month treatment. Drugs I purchased from queues and took daily. Today I'm doing fine and declared free of the disease.
The octogenarian can now enjoy peaceful nights, yet remains grateful for the medical attention received at the Yaoundé Central Hospital.
This man saved me. Today, I encourage anyone with similar symptoms to get screened and not suffer like I did.
He can now face the other challenges that come with old age, knowing he has turned the page on hepatitis C virus.
The Obala District Hospital in the Center region can now boast of an emergency department. The unit was constructed and equipped by the Nachigal Hydropower Company. The structure, alongside a renovated and equipped admission ward, were inaugurated today by Public Health Minister Manauda Malashi, who said it will improve quality health services rendered to the population. Rainatu Saleh has more.
A newly constructed and equipped emergency department ready to be used. This emergency unit of the Obala District Hospital, alongside a renovated and equipped admission ward, is the fruit of a public-private partnership between the Ministry of Public Health and the National Hydropower Company. Minister Manauda Malashi of Public Health, inaugurating the structures, said they will enable staff effectively render quality health services to the population.
We are happy to receive it, and
will make us to be able to take care rapidly of the emergency case who occur regularly in this place, in this road, traffic road accident specifically, and to manage more better the patient who come in the hospital here.
Medical equipment were also donated to the Bachenga, Banjok, Tui and Jore district hospitals to boost their technical platform. A donation still by the National Hydropower Company.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.
Strict sanitary measures have been put in place by most African governments at the level of their airports to check the spread of the coronavirus on the African continent. Before traveling, one is expected to produce a COVID-19 negative result prior departure and upon arrival at the destination. Let's join Baldwin Sama standing by in Dakar, Senegal. Baldwin, you have gone through some of these airports. What did you observe? Good evening.
Good evening to you, Gladys Tata. What I observed is the effective respect of these measures at the level of the different airports. For example, at the youngest Malawi International Airport, where you must present a 48-hour COVID-19 negative PCR test before boarding your plane, and there are 2 health posts at the level of the youngest Malawi International Airport, and likewise at the Douala International Airport, where you must go through and present this COVID-19 negative test. And wherever you're heading to, for example, getting to Dakar, Senegal, where we find ourselves tonight, transiting, for example, through Côte d'Ivoire, you equally present these COVID-19 PCR negative test at the airport in Côte d'Ivoire. And when you get to a country like Senegal, likewise, you equally present this COVID-19 negative test before you have access into the country. And at the end of your stay in your host country, 48 hours before you leave, you must have yourself tested for the coronavirus and have a COVID-19 48-hour free PCR test before heading towards Cameroon. And the peculiarity about the country Cameroon is that when you get to the Yaoundé Malani International Airport from a foreign country, you are once more subjected to a COVID-19 test, despite the fact that you have with you a COVID-19 negative test from the country where you're coming from. At the Yaoundé Malani International Airport or Douala or Garoua, you must be tested once more. These are one of the measures put in place by the Ministry of Public Health to check the spread of the virus from you importing virus from a foreign country and getting into the country with a virus. So some of these measures are strictly respected in most of these African airports. Back to you, Gladys Tata.
Baldwin, and we shall not be leaving you, since you are still in Senegal, to talk on the over 30 journalists from different African countries who are taking part in a 2-day workshop on the handling of COVID-19 pandemic in the media organized by the African Union of Broadcasting and UNESCO, who have been called upon to disseminate the right information on the deadly virus. The call was made today in Dakar, Senegal, by Emmanuel Wongibe, the workshop facilitator and AUB expert during the last modules of the COVID-19 reporting workshop. As Baldwin Sama reports, today's closing ceremony was chaired by the Director General of the African Union of Broadcasting, Gregoire Njaka.
They each received a certificate equipped with the necessary knowledge on COVID-19 reporting, ready to go back to their respective countries and continue playing the key roles in disseminating the right information about the deadly virus. Through different modules, Emmanuel Wongibe drilled the journalists on COVID-19 reporting and the science of the virus.
We are confident that journalists can play a key role in helping us fight it better. But we are also aware that this can only happen if journalists are properly equipped with the techniques, with the tools to deal with the subject and deal with the issues.
Coming from different backgrounds, these journalists get ready to embrace the field challenge.
This conference workshop
The Gonte Cave, which used to serve as a hideout for the first ever chief of Betua, chased at that time by the whites as one of those who opposed their conquest, is today a historic and touristic monument. Though abandoned to nature with no accessibility, the Manjo municipality, with support from the Ministry of Tourism, is in the process of refurbishing and developing the site. Celestin Sumbele is our eyes and ears to the site.
Some 25 kilometers from the city of Betua lies a historic monument called the Cave of Gote. It is a marvelous geographic site with a cultural and traditional string attached to it. Tales about the Gote Cave hold that it was the hideout of the first ever chief and founder of Betua called Mbatua, who was being chased at the time by the Germans as one of those who opposed their conquest and reign. Today, the regional headquarters of the East has as name Betua in honor of that great Baya chief. For reasons linked to the poor mastery of the name by the colonial masters, the town is today known as Betua instead of Mbatua. Nevertheless, local authorities have decided to give the late chief and founder of Betua the grandeur he deserves, with an imposing statue at the center of the road junction in the administrative unit of the town. The fascinating cave situated in Gote reflects the glories of the past according to the Baya community. Sad to note, however, is the fact that this magnificent endowment of nature, which is a great asset in the development of tourism in the region and the nation at large, is now difficult to visit because the footpath is covered by grass and trees. The good news, as maintained by the mayor of Manjon, Innocent Kasala Njoni, is the availability of 75 million CFA francs set aside by the government for the second phase of the project aimed at rendering the site attractive to tourists.
The head coach of Cameroon's boxing team says the country's reputation as a boxing giant will be at stake when heavyweight boxer Maxime Genang takes on Russia's Veryazov Ivan in the 8th final in that category at the Tokyo Olympics on Thursday. Jaena Ebai is in Tokyo and has the details.
The early exit of boxers Sei Wilfred and Menga Ayisi at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics dealt a blow to the country's medal hopes and did dent Cameroon's standing as a boxing giant. Redeeming this reputation now lies on the robust and muscular hands of Maxime Nyonyong. The 27-year-old astute boxer is hoping to channel his fury into punches destined for Russia's boxing poster boy, Veryazov Ivan.
He's left-handed, but I prepare that we can win that fight tomorrow.
On the ring, Veryazov Ivan, a southpaw king, is described as a ferocious athlete, but renowned for his battering ram force. Bubinga, as Nyonyong is christened, has worked on his opponent's shortcomings. Aspirations around Maxime Nyonyong will even be higher as he's tasked with returning Cameroon to winning ways in Japan after Are Sophine Antui, a bright star of Cameroonian judo, was knocked out of the competition in the first hurdle in the 70-kilogram weight range, taking to 4 the number of Cameroonian athletes who've now failed to make any significant strides in Tokyo.
And it's with this sports report that we draw the curtains on this edition of the 7:30 News. Thanks for watching. You'll be in the company of Rumial de Chuisengok at 8:30 for Louvain-Trand. I'll be back same time tomorrow, God willing. Until then, it's bye from all of us on the 7:30 call. Good night.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.